Whoa, 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 whoa. It's the Yewllusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. I'm sitting here, I'm working on my landscape, abstract landscape art. I'm almost done with it. And listening to a little Black Angels, Directions to See a Ghost, solid album. If you haven't checked out the Black Angels, man, they're next level. I've seen them a couple times. Rad show. They like hide behind in their silhouettes. It's kind of epic. Black Angels. You know, it's trippy. This video is for Connor and Malibu, and it's kind of focusing in on what I was talking about with the white hat on my previous video. But I was tripping on something, so I do this little the happiness project book where you just make a little like one sentence entry for every day of the year. So I started it out on this year, right? 2019, just ignore it. And so I've been putting a little sentence in every day, but I don't do it daily, so I kind of forget a couple days. So I didn't do it for like 5 days, and I was trying to write. And it's all about, because we forget stuff, so it's trying to like encapsulate a little sentence so a year from now I can be like, oh yeah, that's what was going on. So I didn't do anything for since Friday. I could not remember what happened Monday. I sat here for like 10 minutes trying to be like, so what happened Monday? Like, what happened Monday? I mean, I know I took Owl to school, but I was like, I drew a blank. I still really don't know what happened Monday. And the thing is I'm a hyper aware person. Like, I'm super focused on being present. So I guess Monday I really wasn't that present. But what surprises me is I'm super present because I don't want to miss anything with Owl. So like I try to fully focus and be super like aware of where I'm at. I still don't know really what went down Monday. Kind of a blur. I know I got my ham radio. I want to make a video. I got myself a ham radio. I want to get my license. Ham radio operator. Me and my buddies, Al's best friend Dylan, his dad and I are doing it together. After the fire and the disaster and the lack of communication, we're like, let's dial ourselves in. Anyway, it just tripped me out that why these things probably aren't a bad idea. It's just how we just forget like life. It's just such a blur. And that's someone who's pretty aware to pay attention. Doesn't cost a lot to pay attention. Anyway, so this video was for Connor, who asked, why do I believe in God? And Lali Lulu Lele, I don't know, it's just his email thing. What do I think God really is? All right, so right off the bat to Connor is I don't believe in God. Like, I know God exists. Like, believing to me is something you debate in your head. Like, do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in the moon landing? Do you believe in the flat earth theory? Do you believe 9/11 was an inside job? Do you believe this? Do you believe that? I know God exists. I see God in my life daily. And what I would say is there was a time when I came to believe that God existed in my life before I knew God existed in my life. And it's only through time that I can look back and truly see God's infinite wisdom working in my life and guiding me and having random people show up and random events occur, because they're not random. They're fully orchestrated. But the thing is my free will gets in the way all the time, but God gave me free will, so is it really in the way? That's the thing. That's That's that weird divine intervention, divine stumbling, divine wrong turn to get to the right place. I remember when I was getting sober, I was talking with my spiritual advisor, and I was like, I regret those years that I didn't do this and didn't do that in my 30s. And he's like, well, look at it this way. If you hadn't done what you did in your 30s, you wouldn't be here now making conscious contact with God. And I was like, whoa. So like all that like wasted time really wasn't wasted, because I can use it as information and really see the difference. Like I've always known God was in my life, but it wasn't until I truly got sober that I began to really understand conscious contact and being present enough to be in God's space. And that kind of gets me to Lali Lu's question, what do you think God really is? I don't know. Like I couldn't narrow it down to like some sort of like pinpoint thing. I know what God isn't. I know God isn't the triflings of this lower dimension. I know that God's not the mistakes and the chaos and the madness. That's not God. That's free will. What I understand God is in his infinite, like God's infinite, right? Like if just for theory's sake, whether you believe in God or not, that's not my business. But for theory's sake, God is the infinite creator of everything in all time and space in all directions. And, you could argue that, yeah, the chaos is part of his too, but that's like the segment he gave to us down here to just figure our way back home. That's the thing, is like we're supposed to battle the demons and the devil and make a decision down here. So what do I think God really is infinite love. So when I'm with God, I don't have any fear. I'm not afraid of the world. I'm not afraid of my bills. I'm not afraid of any of it, because I know that ultimately, like, it's all a joke down here. But I also know that God's right here with me. But the thing that, again, what I know God isn't is fear. Fear leads to all sorts of things. Fear is violence, theft. It's all the bedevilments, the sins, the violating the commandments. That's all based upon fear, and that's because you're not with God, and God is love, right? So we're in this like continually like readjusting our experience in the 3D 5 sense world with our God-given understanding of the multiple dimensions of infinite time and space. And we have to adjust accordingly, but it's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle. So what is God? God is a calmness inside of me. I can't say like yeah, is God in the trees, and the God is everything, right? So I can see God all the time. Like I can see God in the trees and the flowers and the piece of sparkling trash blowing down the street. Like I can see God in everything. I can see God in the chaos. I also see that people committing to the chaos out of fear. Like if people weren't afraid, there wouldn't be any chaos down here, but fear's a choice. Because when I'm in fear, it's because I didn't choose to be in love, right? So God is doing for me what I can't do for myself, right? I look at my whole recent course of events. God didn't burn my house down. God didn't abandon my marriage, but God gave me the strength not to destroy my life. If that makes any sense. God gave me the strength to get up every morning and take my son to school. God gave me the strength to put my head down and find a new place to live. God gave me these human beings that work miracles in my life. You know, don't leave before the miracle occurs. So what God is to me is this clockworks of human beings overcoming their own obstacles and being of service to their fellow human beings. I guess the one way that I absolutely know how to express God. I can express God in all sorts of ways. I express God with my art, but the most fundamental way I've realized how to express what God is to be of service to my fellow human beings. Is to pick up the phone call when someone calls wanting to get sober, to pick up the phone call when someone's distressed, to do my very best to answer the emails. And on a note on that is some of the emails, they get lost on me, especially the big long ones. If you send me a giant long email that's super gnarly, it's almost too much for me. It's a bit much. I do my best, but there's a couple, I always try to get back to them, but I don't know. So I know that I'm expressing God when I'm kind to the cashier, when I open the door for the other human being, when I bend down to pick up something for somebody who dropped something, because it's not about me, it's about me being about them, right? So the way that I know that, as close as I can get to understanding what God may or may not be, is by being of service to my fellow human beings. Is when I'm doing something, and I get the unique experience on this via this YouTube thing, is like people get a hold of me and I help them or talk to them, and I don't have any knowledge of who they are. I don't have a face to go with. All I have is a voice on the other end of the phone. I don't want anything from it. I'm not asking for anything from it. I'm just trying to express what's been so freely given to me by God, is other human beings helping me along the way. My spiritual advisor, Joe, fully sent by God. He was fully connected to God. Would you say he was completely a Christian identity guy? No, but he had his own take on it all, and that dude was fully connected. 100%. I don't know what his thing. I never got really that deep into it. I don't really get that deep into what somebody else's relationship with God is. I think I learned that in sobriety is people will express it through their actions. You know, I got a lot going on. There's some hurdles I have to give to God to overcome right now in my life. You know, about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a radical one. That is like the ultimate expression of God, right? Is to forgive, because forgive is the most loving thing you can do. And it's tricky, especially when you've been really, really wronged. But that's what the lessons are all about. I mean, isn't that ultimately what Jesus was trying to express? Isn't that why God sent Jesus down here? Was to show us what a true example of someone who can overcome the flesh and be of service to their fellow human beings, right? And take it. Like, I mean, People can get all into like, yeah, I fully believe in the supernatural. I fully believe in the resurrection. I have no doubt about it in my being of beings. I have no doubt, because that's an example of what God is for me. God is infinitely beautiful. God is beyond my comprehension, but God is the beauty. Free will is the pain down here. Like, I think people want to get the two worlds caught up. God's given us the choice. And most human beings choose to be not with God and in fear, because love's a full on. In order to truly love, you have to take total responsibility for yourself, right? Like, I mean, that's what I made with that Cavs video the other day, is like, in order to truly express love, you have to truly take responsibility for yourself and stand in front of God and be ready to face your own truths, which is what it's all about. I mean, it's all about taking responsibility for yourself. I mean, that's the whole theme of this channel, is to take responsibility for yourself and face the music and realize whatever it is that's occurring, it's ultimately a lesson. And it's a lesson about, always about going back to love, going back to God, and letting your burden be lifted. So I don't believe, I know, I've seen it in my life continually. And the one thing, and why I just on the wrap this up, why I tread lightly on it, on a certain aspect, is it's attraction versus promotion. Like, I will talk freely about God, but I have no condemnation about your relationship with God. That's for you to move through and towards. If I were to sit here and say anything you're doing is, I don't want to say that, because that's probably, I'm a human, so I'm judgmental by my default. Like, I'm a flawed human being. I'm just trying to say is, like, God is love. That's all I really do know. But love is way bigger than I have the capacity for sometimes, So yeah, I sit here and I do my art. I sit here because it's super clear, right on the, I'll get right to it, wait 2 seconds. It's all right here, man. It's all right here in the book. This book's radical, man. I've been reading it a lot lately, and it's pretty heavily radical. But I gotta get my glasses to read this. Print's pretty small. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. God's creation, creative. God is creative. The number one attribute of God is creativity. He created the heaven and the earth. That's radical, man. That's radical. That's why, like, we're supposed to be making music and making videos and making children and making relationships and making art. We're supposed to be creating things. So another expression of God is to create things, right? It's super clear. What is God? God is creativity in all its infinite aspects. I don't know, man. Like, it's all, what is God? It's all written in here. It's beyond my little human form to truly grasp, but every day I get closer and closer, but some days I have to take a step backwards in order to take a step forward. It's a work in progress. Anyway, I think I got in there on that one. Remember, 2019, just ignore it. It's the Yewllusion. Don't forget to subscribe. Links down below. Good luck out there. There's a lot going on.